Hey folks, Matthew Armstrong here, and I have the great pleasure of speaking with my good friend and colleague Elwin Robinson. I've interviewed with Elwin twice before, and he's provided like really interesting information and content on health and energy. And Elwin's really an energy specialist, and he's just created a new program which is very exciting. A lot of people are talking about it, and I'm just really interested to find out more about it. So I thought we'd take the opportunity now to share it with you and to also have a chat with Elwin at the same time, and let's just see what the program's all about. So thanks, Elwin. Good to chat to you again. And what's this program about? This high energy program. I'm curious.
Thank you, Matthew. Yes, an honour to be interviewed by you. I've interviewed you as well, and found your own story absolutely fascinating. Shared it with my member site on the Health Mastery Academy, and was very well received. So it's an honour to be interviewed by you. And in fact, I'm hoping that you're going to agree to be interviewed to actually have content inside this program as well, because I know that you have something really valuable to share to do with all of it, but especially one of the modules that, the story that you really shared with me personally, which really struck me, about how you were able to recover from asthma, basically, completely naturally. And I was like, really blown away by that. Wow, really impressive. So I really hope to be able to share that with everyone. But anyway, the program. Okay, so I hope everyone's been able to watch the free training series, which I put out recently, and that's like 3 hours of free content where I really focus on what I call the energy ladder, like the 10 steps to energy mastery. And what I described is you really need to do all of them to guarantee energy mastery. Of course, some people just need to do some, and that's great. I've had literally clients who have just done one of each and any of those steps and had a complete transformation, right? So it's not like you have to do all 10, but doing all 10 guarantees that result. That's been my experience. And in those 3 videos, again, we focused a lot on mindset, because I explained that in my experience, I'm sure it's exactly the same for you, Matthew. If people don't have their mindset right, then you can give them all the practical stuff in the world and they won't benefit, not because it doesn't work, but because they can't get themselves to do it consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we focused a lot about the mindset and the most important things for that, and gave some practical exercises and all the rest of it. And the idea of all that free training is, listen, I'm not holding anything back. Here's everything that you need to increase your energy, in fact, to master your energy. However, my experience over the last 2 or 3 years has been that people love for me to coach them. They love for me to support them. They love for me to help them with every facet of it, to guide them, to challenge them, to support them, to inform them, right, to answer questions. And so on top of that free information, for those people who want to go to the next level with me, I decided I'd create a group coaching program where we can all get together and have that high level of support to get to optimal levels of energy. Because, one of the key words that I keep saying, it's not very catchy, but it's like sustained, permanent, long-term, high energy. Right? And I think that's really the key thing. That's the Holy Grail that we should all be aiming for, even if you don't realise it. I'm sure you do, Matthew, but even for those who don't realise it. Because without sustained, long-term, high energy, health is just a dream. It's like energy is the basis of health, but more than that, energy is also the basis of good relationships, right? How many times have you been in an argument with someone or had a big relationship problem because you're just tired and exhausted and stressed, and or it's the basis of wealth, it's the basis of purpose and passion, right? You're not going to find your purpose in life if you can barely keep up with what you have to do just to get through the day, So energy is not just the basis of health, although it absolutely is. It's the basis of anything worth doing in life, and it's the basis of having a life worth doing, in fact. So to me, it's the most important thing. And people have asked me, listen, Owen, you've really got a program out about energy. I released one 2 years ago called the Easy Exhaustion Cure. Why are you doing this? And that's because I really found, Matthew, those dogmatic people who, when they release something like a book or a program and then it doesn't work for someone, and then they say, that's because you did it wrong, right? They try and make it out to the other person. So, I didn't do that. So, most of the feedback I got about the Easy Exhaustion Cure was awesome. But I also had some people say, hey, I'm not really exhausted. I just want to get to the next level, like athletes and performers and stuff like that. Is this really suitable for me? I'm like, well, yeah, kind of, but there'd be other stuff, Or there are people who all of that stuff was good for and it really helped them, but they were like, how do I get to the next level? Or there are even those few people who are like, you know what, this really hasn't done it for me. And then I had to work out how to help them. And I've worked with a lot of people over the last 2 years. I'd say on average, I've been practicing about 30 hours a week, coaching and consulting. So, you know, this isn't like a part-time occasional thing. I'm working with real people all the time. A lot of them are committed to me, like all my health mastery clients committed for 9 months, you know. So I get to see the results of my advice on a regular basis. That's what I'm saying. And as a result of this, I've kind of honed and refined and worked out, okay, this is what you really need to do. And like I said, with my health mastery clients, this is something that I launched last year, and that's something like a really high-end coaching program where people, to be honest, paid a lot of money to have that really intense one-on-one support on a regular basis. Now, I've really thoroughly enjoyed that. I mean, it's been amazing working with these people. A lot of them have gone through... I literally had one yesterday. She said to me, I discovered my purpose in life, Elwin. She was so excited. And she really had. And this is someone who, at the beginning, she was depressed and demotivated and would regularly fall into a pit of despair. And now she's excited because she's found her true purpose. And, you know, that's awesome to me. That's what it's all about. And obviously, we had some things on the way to that. So that's awesome. But the thing is, there's only so many people you can help one-on-one. Right, Matthew, you know what that's like. And you find that you're repeating yourself over and over again a lot of the time. So I tried to figure, okay, how can I help more people just as deeply and make it more available? And therefore, the High Energy Academy was born, right? That's what it is. What High Energy Academy is for those ultimate goals that we talked about, you know, having energy to do all those things that are really important to you. At the beginning of the week, you get video training modules, where you just basically, very simple, like a lot of these online training systems, where you basically get everything that you need. And, you know, some of these people are like, you know what, I'm going to give you like thousands of hours and thousands of pages of everything you could need to know about energy. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to condense for you the bottom line, fundamental steps that you need. In fact, if anything, my free stuff and my interviews like this, I'm allowing myself to meander and wander a little bit, as you can tell, Matthew, because it's kind of fun. But when it comes to training, no, we're going directly in. We're going to, you know, this is why you're doing it. This is what you're doing. This is what I recommend that you do now. Go for it. That's it, right? So that's the basics. But then, of course, that's just me telling you what to do, which is great because it gets you started. But what about all those questions that you have, right? And so this is where I've innovated a little bit, I think. Then, based on all the responses that we get, there'll be as many videos as really needed later in the week where we're going to answer those questions. So I put out a module, say, on balancing blood sugar, and then a load of people are like, hey, where do we get the protein from that you're recommending? Then I'll put out a video later in the week saying, here are my top 10 recommended protein foods, right? So it's actually going to be in a response not just to what I think you need. I mean, the first modules will be the absolute basics, right? But then the next modules will be based on what you have asked me for, you watching this right now. So completely interactive. Now, that's awesome, but as we know, it's not just practicalities, it's also mindset. So as part of this package as well, as like a super bonus thing, we're doing the group coaching calls every week as part of it. So you don't have to join those with us live, but it's recommended that you do. There'll also be a recording afterwards. And in that, I'll give you some coaching. Like I said, most coaching, and you probably know what I mean by this, Matthew, maybe not, but a lot of it is the same stuff. You know, you're reminding people, focus on what's good, not what's bad. Focus on the present and the future, not the past. You know, focus on the outcome and not how difficult the process is. Right? All the basic stuff, and it really helps you to hear it again and again, you know, until it's just not until you know it, but until you're doing it, right?
So that's when you really know it.
Yes. So that's what we're going to be doing in group coaching, is really reminding people about that stuff which really makes all the difference in terms of actually getting results and taking action, and then also taking live calls as well. So answering questions again. If it hasn't already been answered by the initial training, and it hasn't been answered by the follow-up training, then I'll deal with it in the Q&A with the coaching call. So the idea is, like, literally, you are as supported as if we were working one-on-one, but I'm not repeating myself 100 times. So the best of both worlds. And of course, the other benefit of that is that, whereas, like I say, the one-on-one intense coaching is pretty expensive, you know, the cost of the program as I've created it this way is massively cheaper. You know, we're talking about 10 times, 20 times less than it would otherwise be for, 10 weeks of intense training, plus all kinds of bonuses, which we're kind of announcing as we go. And I believe you might have a bonus up your sleeve as well, Matthew. Plus all the bonuses, but even forget all the bonuses. Just the cost of the program itself is a tiny fraction of what you'd normally expect to pay for group coaching. And the reason for that is because I so want it to be available to everyone. It's like everyone deserves energy. Of course, if it were free, well, first of all, I'm not independently wealthy, so I wouldn't be able to pay for all the technology and everything to make it work. But even if I were, I feel like someone has to invest a little bit in something just to be invested in it, for want of a better word, so that they do it, so that they follow up. They're like, oh yeah, I paid for that, I better do the training this week, right? So, there is this small investment that you feel invested in it, but the main focus is on you getting the results, and that's all my focus is about with this program. Not you again, Matthew, because I suspect you've already got most of the results that I'm offering.
Okay. So what's some of the core principles of the program?
Great question. So I've divided up, I can tell you about what each module is in a nutshell, if that would be helpful.
Sure, yes.
So the first module is all about mindset. We're looking at things like focus, we're looking at presence, we're looking about having an exact plan, goals, all of that kind of basic stuff. But we're not just looking at the theory of it, we're actually doing it. We're learning to be, then the next step, module number 2, is oxygenation. And within oxygen, which is such a crucial ingredient for energy, right? Without oxygen, how much energy you're going to have? We're going to look at posture, because that relates to the way you breathe. We're going to look at the way you breathe. And we're going to look at exercise, especially aerobic exercise. Module number 3, we're going to look at hydration. Right, and within that we'll look at what you need, also water, types of water, when to have water, but also essential fats, which are important for hydration, also minerals, right, electrolytes. Module number 4 that we're going to look at then is learning to alkalize and remineralize. I put those two together because they kind of often go hand in hand. Yep. And we're going to explain about how to do that. Number 5 is tonifying. So for people who know me from my herbs, that's where we're really going to go into that. How to tonify each of the 3 treasures, the 5 organ systems. We're going to be looking at that. Number 6 we're going to look at is called sleeping and waking. So this is like an extra thing that I think a lot of people don't address. So this is how to relax at night, how to go to sleep, how to stay asleep for the right amount of time, how to wake up again in the morning, and how to get going in the morning. Right? Because most people don't know that, right? Most people to get going in the morning, what they do is they either make themselves panic about all the things that they have to do, or they take a coffee, which has pretty much the same effect in the body, right? And then at night, maybe they inebriate themselves with TV or alcohol or whatever, and maybe they take a tablet just to get sleep, and all of this is not helping you, your psychological well-being, the health of your brain, the health of your body, and it's definitely not helping your energy. So we're really going into that in detail. The next thing that we learn about after that is blood sugar balance. And again, I have my own perspective on that there is a ways of eating, and it's not so much about don't do this, don't do that. It's a matter of a lot of it is timing. So it's almost important when you eat something rather than you must not eat this, you must eat this. So we look at a lot of that and timing and ways of combining foods. So that's blood sugar balance. Matthew, I'm actually forgetting one. Let me remind myself of what it is. Yes, detoxifying.
Yeah.
My little cheat sheet over there. But there's a very specific type of detoxifying. I'm quite well known by people who know me for saying that you shouldn't start detoxifying until you've got your energy up and your stress down first, right? Because if your energy is already low and then you start detoxifying, you're going to feel even worse. And if you are, like a lot of people, you are just coping, then if you start detoxifying, you go from just coping to not coping, which we really don't want. So when I say detoxifying, I'm really talking about I call it the ABCs, always be cleansing, but just keeping your 4 exit routes clear. So keeping the bowels clear, keeping the skin clear, keeping the lungs excreting, it sounds like you're totally familiar with this, and keeping the bladder clear. So about how to make that a habit, not like, oh, I'm doing a detox now and then back to normal life, but how do I make sure that I always am removing toxins from my system? Yeah. So that's the next module. And then the last 2 modules, and I call these the mastery modules. The number 9 is to take all toxic negative influences out of your life as much as you can. Now, I put that all the way almost at the end because most people start with focusing a bit on that, right? I make little jokes like comparing coffee to crack and stuff like that, and it's because it's funny to me. I'm kind of self-amusing, but the truth is, it's just a little joke. And yeah, they are stimulants, so they do work in a similar way. But the bottom line is, there's no point focusing on what you shouldn't be doing to start with, right? Because those things are probably getting you through the day. Maybe without a coffee you wouldn't even be able to cope. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
without a piece of bread you wouldn't be able to numb yourself enough and you'd have an emotional freak out, whatever it might be. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to not focus on removing the bad stuff, we need to focus on making you really strong, and that's what the first 8 modules are about. But then,
Okay.
of course, when you make yourself really strong, it's stupid to be taking that and then just throwing it away again. In the same way as if you managed by some miracle to increase your income by 5 times, it'd be stupid to still be in debt because you're just spending 5 times more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be aware of that and removing all the stresses. And there are the obvious stuff like coffee and crack, but there are also the less obvious things like negativity in your relationships,
Mm-hmm.
toxicity even in your environment, like your house, right? All of this kind of stuff. Even just thinking too much, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you're aware of this. How
Mm-hmm.
draining it is to the body just to always be in your head over and over and over again. So all of this stuff we're going to address and give you practical tips. And then the last one, and I call this the mastery steps. This is like the final step. Yeah, well, not including bonuses, which is flood yourself with positive input.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
on all sides. So it's all very well to focus on your goals and stuff. That's good, and then it's great to strengthen yourself. It's awesome to remove that negativity. But you know what? If you just remove negativity, then all you're left with is neutral. The way to take it up, and this I call this to be beyond harm. Like once you've got to that level where you flood yourself with positivity, then you're never going to have a cracked pipe or a coffee again, and that's not because it's, oh, I shouldn't, oh, I mustn't, it's bad, blah, blah, blah. It's because I'm not going to ruin feeling this good.
Mm.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
If I offered you some, some kind of junk food or junk substance, you wouldn't have it. Not because you had some little rule book in your head that say, I must not do that, that's bad. But you're like, no way, man, I wouldn't be able to enjoy my run tomorrow morning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
So that's the point of getting to, flooding yourself with positivity. And again, even that final module, I found that I've had clients who have been very good and religiously done all the other steps with me, over time, and they still weren't experiencing that optimal level of mastery, which I would want for them. And I'm like, what is it? I just don't get it, And then, I guess I did that. Try that, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly, now trying to flood yourself with positivity, especially at the beginning, it's probably not going to work. You're going to hear all this positive input, you see all this positive input, and you go, yeah, it's all very well for you, right? Who do they think they are? And understandably, but when you've done all the rest of it, then you're ready, and then you can just flood yourself with positivity. It sounds that you're nodding head. I think this process is familiar to you, right?
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. How about let's give the viewers a taste of it. What
Sure.
how can they double their energy, or how can they get high energy? Give us some practical steps of how we can do that today, and maybe tomorrow is going to be different because of what we do today or tomorrow.
Excellent. Well, just
Taste something that's in the program, or what would be there?
Like
Some
a top three?
simple steps and understandings.
Cool. Okay. One absolutely simple basic thing is to be aware of what you're doing with your mind, right? And obviously you said something really simple, but every time that you realise that you are, and obviously getting into the habit of realising what you're focusing on at all is going to be a challenge. But you know what? Everyone has moments of awareness at some point during the day, right? So every time you have that moment of realising that what you are focusing on right now is making you feel bad, get into the habit of stop, wrench your attention, drag it away from it if necessary, and force it onto something which makes you feel good. An outcome which is important to you. If people want a more detailed version of what I'm saying here, go to value video number 1. There's a PDF you can print off where I ask 5 questions, you fill it in, and you can see all the comments underneath. Everyone is like, I did. The people who did it, they're all like, I did it, and I felt really good afterwards. And there is a reason for that. If you take your focus away from whatever you're worried about, whatever you're anxious about, and force it onto something which makes you feel good, then you're going to feel better. It can be goals. Goals are excellent. It can just be, you know what are 5 successes I've already had today? Just focus on them. List them off in your head, or even better, write them down. What are 5 things that I'm already grateful about right now that I've already got? And just list them down right now. What are the 5 experiences that I remember in my life where I completely changed the direction of my life? Just focus on that. You know what? Everyone told me it couldn't be done. Or if you haven't got 5 free, whatever you can think of. You know what? Everyone told me that I couldn't be a chef, that I should be a lawyer. But you know what? I was insistent I was going to be a chef, and I made it work. And God damn it, now I'm a successful chef. What are those times when you shape your own destiny? Remind yourself of that. Whatever it might be. Remind yourself of the people that you love. Who are the 5 people you love most in your life? Just write them down or consider them and think, why do I love them so much? And allow yourself to feel that. So the bottom line, the common denominator of all these things I'm saying is take your attention, take it away from that which makes you feel bad and force it onto something else. And the reason I keep going to this side on the left, Matthew, is because the latest brain research has indicated that when we feel bad, it tends to be because our right prefrontal cortex is dominant, and that's when we feel passive and we feel negative. And then if our left prefrontal cortex is dominant, then we feel active, like we make stuff happen, and we feel optimistic about life. Okay. So again, we want to notice that maybe the bad feelings, that when we're focusing on bad stuff, it's more over here, and just take your focus to the left. Go, what am I happy about? What am I grateful for? What have I done successfully already? What are my goals? What are my dreams? What are my achievements that I've already done? So that's number 1. Number 2, probably a little bit simpler, get present. And the easiest ways to get present is just to breathe. Now, we want to breathe properly. I don't know if you've really done training on this, Matthew, but, breathing into the belly. So just stop, especially again if you're stressed or if you're tired or whatever, stop, take a deep breath into the belly, just become aware of your external environment. I think external environment is really key, right? So stop focusing in there. Just take and just look around. Oh, look at the trees. Oh, look at the concrete, right? It doesn't even have to be anything pretty. Look at the garbage over there that I should have taken out, right? Just anything outside you is better than staying in your head. Ideally, focus on something nice, like some flowers, some trees, some something out there that you are fond of. But anything out there is better than nothing out there. So just take a brief breath in. Become aware of your external environment, and then breathe out through your nose slowly as your belly falls inwards. So just breathe in, become aware of your external environment, and breathe out slowly. And straight away, anything that's bothering you, unless you literally happen to be in that tiny 1% minority situation where there is actually someone in your face trying to make you feel bad, the vast majority of the time the person who's trying to make you feel bad is only in your head, or the situation is only in your head. So get out of your head, get into now, and instantly you feel a boost of energy, because the main thing that drains you of energy is stress and overthinking. Probably more than physical toxins, except for the most extreme ones. And then the last just practical tip I'll give you, Matthew, well, not you, but your viewers, is more water. Just simply start the day with a litre of water. There's a lot of back and forth on what is the best type of water. I don't even know what your opinions are on this. All I will say is just make it as good as possible, right? I mean, I prefer spring water. Other people, they prefer filtered water of some type or another. Either way, I think almost pretty much everyone agrees don't drink tap water. But get the best water you can and drink a litre of it, which is like a quart or 2 pints, first thing in the morning before you eat anything. And then ideally, if you're an average size, obviously if you're very, very small, then you want to adapt this. But ideally, most people want to be aiming for having 2 or 3 litres a day. And if you're active, potentially a lot more, But that's the minimum. Assuming you're not sweating and assuming you're not very active, at least 2 litres a day, depending on your size. And again, if you're big, more than that. But especially the first thing in the morning, instantly. And definitely before you eat anything, but also before you have that coffee. Because you might find you don't even need the coffee after you've had a litre of water. You're good, Water straight away, first thing. And I believe, Matthew, if you practice all those 3 things, just for a week, say, you would already double your energy. It'd be as simple as that.
Quick recap of the 3 things, very, very fast. First thing.
Take your focus away from what you don't want, put it on what you do want or you are happy with. Number 2, get present, breathe into the belly, look at the world outside you, breathe out slowly. Number 3, first thing in the morning, drink a litre of good quality water, drink another 2 by the end of the day.
Okay, so it's the thinking process, the breathing, and the water. Those 3 things,
You'd agree with that?
Cool.
Awesome. If I may mention about price and availability, it's not available for very long. This is the thing, it's a very limited release. And the reason for that is because it's this group interactive coaching experience, right? So if we let someone else join in a month's time, then they're going to kind of start halfway through. So we're really asking you to find out more about this now, you know? So don't leave it, don't procrastinate. Again, don't be passive, negative, don't be stuck in here, right? Take action. And of course, if it's not right for you, it's not right for you. But take action, at least find out about it, you know? So what I recommend that people do is check out the video. We've got a link underneath this video. So follow the link underneath this video. Check out the video. Make sure it is right for you, right? Because it's not right for absolutely everyone. So make sure this is appropriate for you, that you are going to be able to really benefit from this. And then if it is, go ahead quickly, because we've only got a limited amount of time and we've only got a limited amount of space, because there's only so many people that you can serve in this context, as you know, Matthew, like group coaching. So get in while you can, assuming that you feel that it's right for you. And as for price, I'm going to leave that until you watch the video, but just to let you know that we've got a free payment option as well. So if you even feel like, you know, but I will tell you, I mean, I don't know, how much do you normally pay for group coaching, Matthew? I think it's normally at least thousands of dollars, right? For like
it can be depending on who's doing the coaching, of course.
Yeah. What's the cheapest you've ever seen it at? I'm curious, genuinely. This isn't scripted. But
I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I've never seen it for less than $1,000, and I'll tell you, it's going to be much, much, much less than that. Okay, so this isn't going to be out of the range of anyone who has enough money to be able to watch a video on a computer. So if you're in the Western world, you're able to watch a video on a computer, then you can afford this. You know, so if it feels right for you, if it speaks to you, go for it. We've got a free pay option just in case, you know, it's a cash flow issue. You can do one at a time. And of course, there's the refund. So 30-day money back guarantee. You can just try out. If you're in any way dissatisfied, you decide it's not right for you after all, you've got that period of grace where you can just say, you know what, actually I've changed my mind. Absolutely great. No problems. You know, Matthew is my friend. He'll guarantee that for you as well, that you can trust me. There's no question about that. If you're not happy, you just get your money back. So even if you are thinking like, I don't know if this is right for me, I would suggest just take action and go for it, right? If you're like, you know what, that's not for me, then don't, right? If it's not right for you, and like I say, in the video and the link below, I'll explain in what circumstances this may not be appropriate for you, then don't do it. But if this feels like it could be right for you, there's no good reason why not. I would suggest just take action and try it.
Okay. Awesome. Very, very, very exciting program there, Elwin, and sounds to be a lot in it, and again, interactive, and something that gets results. You're working very holistically with the mind, the body, the spirit as well, and obviously sharing great information that works.
Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah. Awesome. So what I'd like to offer as well, as an added bonus to your program, is also, for anyone that opts into your program, is also free access to my own membership site, outstandinghealthnow.com. So that's another huge resource in there of positive input and tons of information on health, energy, raw food, all that as well. So that's an added bonus that I'd like to offer as well to anyone that opts in.
That'd be perfect. Yeah, I mean, I've been in there. It's awesome. There's so much positive input that would literally be an ideal way of doing it. In fact, I might put a link to that when people ask me,
okay,
where do I get all this positive input from, Elwin? I might well say Outstanding Health Now, so that could work very nicely. If you're offering that for free to anyone who signs up with your link, then that would be absolutely perfect. So,
yep,
thank you so much.
My pleasure.